Now, this is the biggest story coming out of India. Amid protests by opposition parties over the violence in Manipur, proceedings in the lower house and the upper house of the Indian Parliament continue to get adjourned as the Parliament logjam continued for a fourth day. The opposition parties decided to bring a no-confidence motion this time.
हम दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र है, क्या रोज नारेबाजी करते हैं आप? नारेबाजी से कोई समस्या का समाधान नहीं निकलना। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, प्रश्नकाल नहीं चलाना चाहते।
A proposal to submit the same was discussed at a meeting of the constituents at the Indian National Development Inclusive Alliance, also known as I.N.D.I.A. And as the opposition continues to demand a statement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the situation in the violence-hit state, Congress President said that the situation in the northeast was getting fragile. And also the repercussions of the Manipur violence seem to be spilling over to the neighboring states. Now, further taking a jab at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Congress leader added that it was high time that Prime Minister sheds his quote-unquote ego and takes the country into confidence on Manipur.
Representatives are giving notices under 267 in Parliament. We are talking about Manipur, but the Prime Minister is talking about the East India Company.
On the other hand, when the Indian Prime Minister addressed the opposition as quote-unquote directionless, ruling party member backed Prime Minister Modi's remarks.
हमको गर्व है अपने प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय मोदी जी पर।
We are proud of our Prime Minister. We are coming back to power in 2024. Prime Minister Modi has given a statement that Indian National Congress and East India Company was founded by a foreign national. Today people are using names like Indian Mujahideen and Indian People's Front. Something on face value could be different from something that is really true.
Indian National Congress एक अंग्रेज ने बनाया था।
Now, the opposition's strategy to corner the government on the Manipur crisis continues in both the houses. Proceedings in Parliament have been continuously disrupted since the monsoon session started on July 20th. In Manipur sexual assault cases, the state police has now made another arrest. 7 people, including 1 juvenile, have been apprehended in the case so far. Now, for the latest updates on the ongoing crisis in Manipur, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibul, is joining us live from New Delhi. Siddhant, welcome to the broadcast. Now, discussions over Manipur have been adjourned in the Parliament, both in the lower house and the upper house, due to the ruckus that played out. But Siddhant, if there is no dialogue, how will there be a solution to the violence that is playing out in Manipur at the moment?
Well, the worry is that the monsoon session of the Indian Parliament could be a washout because of the ongoing situation in the Parliament. What the opposition wants is that the Indian Prime Minister makes a statement on the issue in the Parliament. But the government is saying that we are willing to discuss Manipur, and the concerned nodal ministry, that is the Home Ministry, the Home Minister himself, Amit Shah, is willing to make a statement. But the opposition is not relenting. They want a statement by the Indian Prime Minister. Now, earlier today we saw the BJP, that's the ruling party here in India, its parliamentary party meeting happening, which was addressed by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And sources have said that the Indian Prime Minister slammed the opposition, especially the bloc that has emerged, the over 20 opposition party bloc, which is known by the name I.N.D.I.A. Slamming this opposition bloc, the Indian Prime Minister said that putting the word India does not make them patriotic, saying that even East India Company had the word India in it. But essentially we need to look in a larger holistic view, in a sense that India will be having its general elections next year, and it's just almost 9 months less before the election. So essentially there is a move by both the opposition and of course the ruling party as well in terms of gearing up for the election, and that is why the opposition is in no mood to relent, and that is why we know that the opposition is not willing to make any concession on the issue of Manipur, and they want the Indian Prime Minister to make a statement. In fact, they are tabling a no confidence motion, which everyone knows they are not going to succeed, given that the government, the party in power has the numbers in at the Lok Sabha, but this is a message in itself that they are not going to relent when it comes to the statement they want from the Indian Prime Minister on Manipur in the Parliament.
Right. Siddhant, yesterday we got some reports that there are people pouring into in Manipur, from Myanmar illegally. And there were questions being asked, how is that being possible, especially at a time like this when the security situation is extremely tense in the Indian state? Is there any development on that front?
Well, when it comes to the local politics of Manipur, there has always been a worry over the situation in Myanmar, and since the coup in Myanmar, we have seen refugees pouring into India's northeast from Manipur. There are linkages as well, ethnic linkages, but the worry in Manipur state by a certain segment is that these refugees might destabilize the situation on the ground. Now, this is something that India takes very seriously, and we know that the Indian External Affairs Minister just few weeks ago met his Myanmarese counterpart in Jakarta. On the in fact, in Thailand, he met on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC meeting when the Indian External Affairs Minister had gone to Jakarta and then later to Bangkok. Now, during that meeting in Bangkok, the Indian External Affairs Minister had strongly raised the issue of the stability in border areas, because whatever happens in Manipur does have its repercussions in the bordering states, especially states like Manipur. So essentially the Indian government here in the centre is aware of that worry, and when it comes to the local politics of Manipur, yes, increasingly there is worries being expressed by the local politicians, especially over the influx of these refugees destabilizing the situation on the ground.
All right, Siddhant, thank you for getting us all those insights from New Delhi on the ongoing crisis in Manipur.